Hey, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a review of War Story. And disclaimer that I got a review copy of this one, and it's co-designed by my friend David Thompson. So War Story is basically a choose-your-own-adventure game mixed with a war combat theme. You play through one of 3 missions, and you can combine them together into a campaign, and this is typical choose-your-own-adventure-ish kind of stuff. You're reading entries, seeing what happens, and using your squad of 4 people who are helping the French resistance in World War II. They have different stats that are used in skill checks, and sometimes you go into big epic combat scenes where you're using your characters still within the choose your own adventure framework to try to defeat German soldiers and such. So let's discuss 5 key things to know about War Story. So first, my number 5 are the non-combat locations that you sometimes explore and how they interact with the time track in each scenario. So each of the missions has a different way of tracking time and different ways that it advances. And then based on what time it is, you can go to these different locations and interact and explore with them. Now, this is my number 5 and the least important to know from the review because these don't make up the majority of your time. You might have some location interactions once, maybe twice in each mission, but you're spending a lot more time with the combat and other stuff. But still, I like how these work. I like how the combination of the cards and the advancing time and the choices that are created by those interactions functions both narratively and mechanically. Next to number 4, also a pro for me, is the party management. So you have 8 characters to choose from, but you bring only 4 at a time, and they each have different strengths and weaknesses. Some of them even have special abilities. And while certain missions will lead you in certain directions, like you might want more people who have firepower or people who have stealth, they're all useful in their way. And picking different party members is going to change up the strategies and approaches you try during the game. But what's really cool and also harrowing at times is that they can get injured, they can get straight up killed, and then you don't have them for the rest of the campaign. So the realities of war are thrust into your face as you deal with your party members, and yeah, it can be tense, but also exciting. Next at number 3, which is also a pro for my taste, is the skill test system and how you use resources to mitigate your results. So as you go through the missions, you'll get little skill tests that'll be like, check what your firearms is, or check what your stealth is. And there's no randomization here, you just literally look at the values your characters have and total them up, or see who has the lowest or the highest. But you've got these shared resource tokens that can boost your skills or boost your firepower to increase your total and give you a better result. But these are super limited. You get a few at the beginning of the mission and generally none besides that. And when you're using them for checks, you don't know exactly how many more checks are coming or how important this check is. So there's incredible tension in these choices and in seeing your resources dwindle and knowing that eventually you'll just kind of be at the mercy of the game to see what happens in the choices you make. Really cool and fun system that removes randomness and just forces you to blame yourself when everyone dies. Next, my number 2, which, hey, is also a pro, although this one is going to vary drastically based on your tastes. I'm talking about the branching campaign structure and the replayability of the game. So I am comparing this to other choose-your-own-adventure games. There is an inherent limit in how much you can play the game, but in each of the missions, there are several big branching choices. There are entirely different things you can see, different locations, different battles, and the game uses a nicely done tracker system where you circle certain letters as you go, and that could even change things because of what happened in one mission in a future mission. It all works really smoothly, and it gives, I would say, for the average player who's not obsessive and trying to see everything, it gives probably 2 to 3 plays for each of the missions. You're looking at 6 to 9 plays total, and nothing is destroyed, no legacy element here, so you can easily sell or trade or give the game away after you're done, seeing as much of it as you want to see. And each of the missions has a very different feel, has a very different focus, has new mechanics that keep it feeling fresh and exciting. So if you're like me and you enjoy choose-your-own-adventure games and you like these narrative experiences, and especially if you have someone you can give the game to or sell it to afterwards, I think the value here is going to be great. But again, this might fall flat for you based on your taste, because if you don't like games that have sort of limited replayability, then this one's not going to blow you away. But finally, my number 1 point about the game, the best thing about it, big pro, yes, this is a 5 pro review. I love this game. But my number 1 are the combat encounters. These are so friggin' cool. They have these maps, and you have these positions where you can put your soldiers. And the positions will do different things, like somebody might be on recon, somebody might be on long-range support, other people might be placing themselves in more or less danger, and the encounters will change based on the choices you made. The locations of the enemies will be different based on how things played out in the scenario. And then you're doing this basic skill test system, but things are so harrowing and tense. Your people are getting cut down, dying, the enemy is advancing through your ranks. In no joke, feels like the most cinematic, exciting moments in whatever your favorite war movie is, Saving Private Ryan, etc. It is incredibly impressive, and the variety is just crazy. You see so many different types of battles, and they progress in stages, and like you clear this thing, and then this thing happens. You're in buildings, you're withstanding sieges, you're attacking. It's great. So overall, War Story, if I'm being honest, is probably my favorite game of 2025 so far. I mean, it's still pretty early, of course. But to be fair, it's the perfect storm of things I really like: choose your own adventure narrative games and war games, and it's pretty unique in that way. But you might want to check this game out if you, like me, enjoy choose your own adventures, or if you like narrative games, or if you just like kind of tense cinematic game experiences in general. On the other hand, if you don't like World War II themes, if you don't like kind of overly harsh themes like This War of Mine because the game can get dark, or if you just don't want to read a lot because that's what the game is, or if you want infinite replayability, you might want to avoid this one. And if you want to see the game in action and, of course, get some spoilers for the first mission, you can watch the play I had on the channel recently. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.